My phone says we're live, but it doesn't say live. Up there it is. Hey, flower friends, welcome to the live gardening show. It is your friend in flowers, Lisa. And look, y'all, my husband actually brought these to me a few nights ago. He collected them from around our yard, and they're so beautiful and showy. I couldn't not show them to you. And Susie Q is going to be using them in the Bouquet studio today. And look, today is this welcome to the Shamrock show. Today we're celebrating all things green. You know, St. Patty's Day or Patrick's Day is coming up fast. So we thought this would be a great opportunity. So in today's show, easy flower arranging tips with Susie Q. And we have a demonstration of our most popular and widely used soil blocking tool. And that is the 3/4 inch small blocker. And one of our favorite products is back in stock. And also, we're going to do a showcase of our favorite green flowers, foliages, and products. So this ought to be a lot of fun. You know, you don't realize all the stuff that's green until you start looking for it, right? Did you know that 50%, or on average, 50% of the flowers that florists purchase is greenery, is green? I mean, we should all be growing lots of green. Even if you don't sell to florists, that just says they use it a lot. And that means if you're a home gardener, you need to have more foliage, right? Remember that we're going to have a prize drawing for in-app viewers. And also I'll be doing a live Q&A at the end. So be sure to stick around for that. And if you have a question, you can suggest it in the comments. Just in the comments, put at Lisa, then type your question, and the team will gather those up and feed me a few of them. Now, before we get started, please share. That's what's down at the bottom here, that little arrow down there. Share with your friends that you're at a live gardening show and invite them to come on over. We know y'all do that, and we appreciate it so much. So here's the time that you can do that. Remember to also, when you're checking out, please put your eyeballs on your email address and your phone number and make sure there's no typos because we can't create shipping tickets without that. And friends, if you have just come upon this in your social feed, I'm so glad you're here. But what you need to know is that we have a free phone app. This is what it looks like. Look at all these people carrying on down here. We have a free phone app. And inside the app, there's lots of benefits. First off, you get to carry on with the other live viewers. When you're on social, we can't see you. When you type comments and stuff on social, we don't get to see those. So when you're inside the app, we can see your comments. That means that you can participate in the giveaway and that you can submit questions for the live Q&A at the end. But here's the rub on the whole deal. We offer special shipping rates inside the phone app. And that is seed packet only orders. That means if you only order seed packets, the shipping's on us. We pay for it. But there's also a cap on product shipping. Doesn't matter if you buy 1 or 5. It's only $11.95 for shipping. We do ship to all 50 of the United States, but remember that these special shipping offers are only available inside our app. They won't work over on our big website. Now, frequently during the show, we sell out of some items. So if you go to an item to put it in your cart and it says out of stock, get notified. You might want to hit that get notified because the team might in fact be bringing stock over from our big website. It's true, y'all. Our app and our website do not talk. And so that's how that works. You just get a little ding on your phone. And friends, we absolutely love it when people post the sunflower emoji. Those are our TGW family. Those are people that are online course students and members of my Flower Farmer Club. And look, that's why you're seeing all these sunflowers on there. Those are people just sending us little balls of love, and we absolutely love it. So thank y'all so much for doing that. Now, today, the giveaway is a $25 store credit, y'all. So if you hit the giveaway button button now and get on that wait list that's there. That's just the list that we pull from at the end of the show. And one lucky in-app viewer will be awarded a $25 credit in their cart, which is just so much darn fun. All right, so the tip of the day is we're doing easy arranging with Susie Q. And so is she doing this? I think so. So I'm going to turn it over to my sis.
Move over. Hey, I'm Suzanne. If you've never met me, I'm Lisa's little sister. And I'm just going to go over some of my favorite arranging tips. And I'm not really a taught arranger. I just kind of do what I think
You're
looks good.
practical.
And I'm very practical, yes. And I like to break the rules. So put your seatbelt on. Okay. People often say, these flowers don't go together, or should I use this flower or that flower? All flowers go together. They're beautiful. They're all beautiful. You just have to use them. Greenery, like Lisa was talking about, is the key. Don't be afraid to mix colors, experiment and try new things, have fun, and be creative. You just have to keep, doing it. Practice, practice, practice. More you practice, the better you're going to get at something. So don't do it once or twice and think, this isn't very pretty, and don't try again. Just keep trying. Lay out your stems, group smaller flowers together. You can take 3 or 4 flowers, different ones, and make little bunches and put them all together. You'll be surprised at yourself when you start doing it that way. Keep practicing. Try containers other than a vase. Pitchers, gravy boats, teacups, crocks. Gravy boats are my favorite because they're nice and low and you can see the person sitting on the other side of the table. So if in doubt, cut a flower off. I'm quick to cut them short, usually cut them too long and have to cut them again. So if they're splaying and don't lay like you want them, often if you just cut a little bit more off, they'll stay in place. Remember your angles. Flat pieces that go against the wall, you don't have to worry about the back side, right? But if it's going to be on a table and people are going to be sitting around, you have to check and make sure that it looks good from all directions. And again, we love the gravy boat. You can see all the way around it. It's easy. Cut them short, stuff them in, and it's beautiful. So greenery and foliage. Never have enough greenery and foliage. You can go and, search your yard over and get stuff out of your yard, shrubs and different things that work great for greenery. Grow more than you think you need. Look for different shades of green and shapes. Their texture is just so great. I love texture. And there's also scents from some of your foliages as well. We use mountain mint that is just smells so good. And then of course basil, which is our favorite. The lemon basil knocks customers off their feet. Cover crop seed, like the crimson clover that I'm going to be using the clover today for St. Patrick's Day.
And it's not time now to plant this, but you need to mark your calendars that you plant this in the fall, right? So Suzanne's going to show you how to use it.
And the clover, this is just the greenery of the clover. Of course, it gets a beautiful pink red flower on the top. Almost looks like a gomphrena. That's beautiful as well. So number 5 tip is a clean container. And people faint sometimes when I say, don't put a flower in that container unless you're willing to drink water out of it. And that is the key. Put everything you can in the dishwasher if it's dishwasher safe. The cleaner your container, the longer your life of your flowers is going to be. What happens is if you use an old container that hasn't been washed, you put water in it. As soon as your flowers hit that water, they're drinking up the bacteria left over from those old flowers. So you always want to use clean, 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 clean containers. Okay? And one way we get that is, like, for instance, this vase, which I love. It holds a lot of water and has a neck that's kind of tight so you can put flowers in it and you don't have to water them as often. But you can't get your hand down in here to clean it. So the vase brush, which is it's a foamy plastic kind of material, and you can turn it to fit any direction you want. So you stick it down in there and you can get down in the bottom of your containers, and it just helps you get that clean that you need. All right. And they're $13.95, and of course they'll bend to whatever shape you have. Great for hummingbird
What did
feeders.
we used to put in vases? The Effordent?
With Effordent tablet, if there's something in the bottom you can't get out, get an Effordent tablet, which I thought was a simple thing until you see they only come in big packs and they're expensive, but get a pack, have on hand forever. You can put a tablet in there, let it fizz up and sit for overnight, and then the next morning you should be able to just brush it right out with this and get it clean.
So those are for dentures, right?
Yeah, they're for dentures. And we also do humidifiers. We do the filters on our farm
yeah.
in the irrigation with this
Hummingbird.
as well, $13.95, and hummingbird feeders. All right, so number 6, no foliage in the water. We always try to pull off any of the foliage that's not going to be used, because what happens is that foliage down in the water breaks down quicker than the stem, and it makes your water ucky. So one thing that we do sometimes use is our stem stripper, and this works great, especially if you have roses, because this will get all of those daggone thorns off as well. But sunflowers, anything, and you just stick your stem right in the center and you just pull it down and it gets all of those leaves off. So if you have a lot of stripping to do, or if your hands just need more protection, a stem stripper is great. And it's $22.95, and the girls will pick out a color for you. They come in different colors and we'll send you a surprise color. All right, 7th tip, flower food. Flower food really does work. A lot of people bring home retail flowers. That's what we call them. When you get them from the grocery store and they came in a box from South America, and they're made to live without water for an extended amount of time. So often people will put flower food in their water, and the flowers don't ever drink the water because they're made to live without it. But when you have garden flowers or flowers from your farmer's market and your local farmers, they drink a lot of water. And it's very important that you put flower food in that water, and it extends their vase life. Our daffodils are growing now and we love to bring them in, but they get slimy water really quick and they can be toxic to other flowers. So we use the CVBN tabs. It's just a little chlorine tablet, and it comes in 2 different sizes, and I'll tell you exactly how and why we use this. And the single count, the one bottle of 80 is $18.95, and there's also larger bottles. But go back up to the Dirty Dozen, Susie. So we put one of these tablets in every bucket on the farm when we go out to harvest flowers. But it is more important for some flowers than others. Daffodils. Aren't these beautiful? Daffodils, they excrete stuff from their stem as soon as you cut them. So what happens is you put them in the water and they're immediately making their water yucky. And they're more susceptible to yucky water. What is the deal, guys? I mean, what are you doing? Don't do that. So we put a CVBN tab in the water when we harvest them, and that makes their first drink bacteria free, and it keeps the bacteria down. You use it from 3 to 72 hours. They can stay in that water, and it'll just give them a great clean first drink. Now, other flowers that also do this are amaranth, ornamental kale, marigolds and pot marigolds, bachelor's button, celosia, which would be coxcomb and plumes, dahlias, gerber daisies, daffodils again, feverfew, safflower, snapdragons, stock, sunflowers, yarrow, and zinnias. So there's a lot of flowers on that list that we grow. So we put one of these in every bucket. The only thing we don't use this for is basil and sometimes hydrangea. But
It won't hurt them.
it's not going to hurt them, but they don't need it. So one of these in the bucket when you're harvesting the flowers. So that means the flowers are going to sit in this until you're ready to put them in a vase or make a bouquet or send them to a florist that you're selling them to, or when you're ready to arrange. So the CVBN tabs are instrumental in extending the life of our flowers. Second, what we do from there, we do one of 2 things. If we're going to sit on these flowers for a few days, or if they're going to a florist, we use holding solution. Now, the holding solution is a little tea bag, and it has what's on it. And why is that part important? Because if you're sending this to a florist, they're not going to know what's in the water. But this little tea bag is going to tell them that they have put conditioner in the water. The tea bags hold the flowers. There's not anything in it to help them progress along because you want them to stay not blooming or not opening more as long as you can until it gets to the end user, whether that be the florist or the retail customer. So we put the holding solution when we move them from the CVBN tab after a day or two in the CVBN. They would go to this holding solution if they're going to a florist, or if we have to hold them for a couple of days, we would use the holding solution.
You know, it just seems so simple, right? Holding solution is for holding flowers.
Exactly.
Yeah, that kind of says it, right?
And you just drop it in the bucket just like a tea bag and just forget it. Provides food and hydration but slows down development. Used before putting it in bouquets. There's two sizes. There's a small that's for a half a gallon of water. 100 count is $19.95. And then there's a large, which is for a gallon of water, and 100 count is $36.95. And again, garden flowers that you're getting from the farmer's market or that you're cutting from your own garden or farm are going to benefit immensely. This really adds many, many days to the life of the flowers. So next thing we have are the flower foods. And first I want to point out the bulb. Which one is the bulb? I
This one.
forget. The yellow one. They're all turned around. I can't read them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bulb flower food, everybody's seen these little packets that comes attached to your flowers. Well, this one is made specifically for bulbs. And why is that? It has an extra hormone in it that keeps the bulb greenery from yellowing. So it's just regular flower food with a little hormone in it. So any bouquet that you're making that has a bulb flower in it, like daffodils, dahlias, what are some others, Lisa? Tulips,
tuberoses, lilies.
and so if you're making a mixed bouquet, this extra hormone doesn't harm regular flowers, but it helps the bulb flowers. You can use this on any flower, but you just want to make sure your bulb flowers are getting this. Okay, a 50 pack, they're on special 30% off. 30% off.
It's in the honor of all the bulbs blooming.
I tell you what, it's $8.37, and then there's a 100 pack that's also 30% off. That's $13.38. So it's the bulb blooming cell. So that's the bulb blooming bulb flower food. If there's no bulbs, then we would just use our regular flower food.
So, like for us, we don't grow bulbs here. I mean, we don't grow bulb grown flowers typically, tulips, all that kind of stuff. And we actually only use the fresh cut flower food because we don't have bulbs, right? So, it's just a matter of what your offering is as to whether you use this one or that one. I definitely think the green is prettier.
It is. And especially on St. Patrick's Day-ish. So the flower food is the same way. What happens when you make a bouquet or you wrap it around a bouquet when you make it to send to market or whatever is when the end user gets this, the flowers, they use the flower food. It also cuts down on the bacteria, but it does feed it a little bit to help it progress and open up. So this is going to make it more enjoyable for whoever's getting that flower at the end and keep them fresh. And then after a few days, we usually say change the water and you can put in more flower food or you can just use straight water. But the more flower food you use, the more it's going to benefit. Did I give the prices of those, Susie? So a pint, they come in two sizes. The pint is for the smaller containers, and a 50 pack is $7.95. And then the quart would be a little bit larger container, is $11.95 for a 50 pack. And there are larger packs also available. So next up, vegetables love flowers. Lisa, did you already mark this page, Susie? Of course you did.
Of course you
Susie
did.
is the bomb. So here, thanks, Susie. Here it's on page 52. It's showing me making some bouquets and our organic farming philosophy, so much more. And that's in vegetables love flowers. So this
It goes over the CVBN.
Yes, this goes over the flower foods and everything. And this is just Elora, it's my daughter. Lisa, my sister. This is Lisa's organic practices are in this book. And it's a great read. And for anybody that loves flowers and vegetables. All right. And it's $25.95. All right. The eighth tip No, this segment is never going to end. The eighth tip is fresh water. Freshen up the water as frequently as you can, every 3 to 4 days. Again, like I said, you can use just fresh, clean water, or you can put more flower food in. If you cut an inch or so off of the bottom of the stems, and sometimes even rinse the stems if the water seems kind of yucky, then wash the container, rinse the stems, cut an inch or so off, and then go ahead and put fresh water in that container. And if it's yucky, then the flower food will really help to keep that water a little bit better. All right, tip number 9, sunlight. Flowers love sunlight when they're in the garden, but once you cut them and bring them in the house, sunlight just fades them and deteriorates them. So keep them out of direct sun. It shortens their vase life, and it won't make you happy when they're yucky. So, deadheads. Number 10, deadheads. You can get a flower.
Like this?
Yeah, you can get a flower that looks kind of great far away, but when you get up close, you can see the edges are all dried and yucky. So if you have any kind of flower, everybody usually knows if you get a rose, you can peel off the outer yucky petals and you have a beautiful flower underneath. But you can also take a flower and trim off anything that looks yucky in your container and let your, bouquet last a little bit longer. So as the flowers start to fade, either remove them or prune them and then just refresh your water again. Well, I hope you enjoy my top 10 arranging tips. And now we're going to get to some arranging tools. First up, we have the shear and pouch, which I usually have on my hip. These are my old, this one's Lisa's, stole it again.
She's still taking my stuff, y'all.
At least it's not your shirt that I got a stain on.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are our shear and pouch. Talk about the shear first. The shear is a bonsai shear, and it has this little spring here, and it's smaller. Most of the shears that I'd used before were big, like for a man's hand, and you can't get your hand around it comfortably. These are kind of petite, and they are just super, super sharp. We would send you a new one. And these cut little woodies, big sunflowers. We use them to harvest everything here on the farm. And they just go and go and go, and they're comfortable on your hand. Now, the pouch, this is what mine looks like, and this is what a new one looks like. The pouch, the great thing about the pouch is this little clip on the back. The clip I can actually clip to my pocket and not a belt, which it's much easier to use it at that level. You see it goes right in. If it were on my hip, it'd be way up here. But you can use that for these shears or really just about any shear. Sometimes I put other tools in there if I'm using that out in the garden. But it keeps you from laying these down and then losing them out in the garden. Or I'm walking from table to table cutting and I don't know where my clippers are, but I do because they're always in my pouch. So the shear and pouch kit are also available separately in the app, but together they're $58.81, which is a deal. And these are something you'll have forever and you love and love if you just motoring around your yard or if you're working on a flower farm. All right, next we have the florist knife. Be careful, this is very sharp. So it's a Swiss folding knife, single straight blade, 2.5 inch, and it's a 4 inch handle. They're $29.95, and this is what we see a lot of arrangers and even florists use, and they just are popping those flowers quick and stuffing them because they have to work really fast when it's your job to make arrangements, huh? So this is what they find quick and easy, and I know that you'll find a use and enjoy it too. So this is, yes, a Swiss knife. All right, next we have our Joyce chins. Joyce chins are my favorite scissors. I love and protect them. I hide them from my husband and my children. They're so sharp. They will cut a chicken in your kitchen, chicken leg. They'll cut through the bone, or they are great for arranging. A lot of arrangers like to use these to cut their flowers when making arrangements. They cut ribbon beautifully. I use them to trim my dog's feet because they're just reliable. You know, when you go do this, it's going to cut where you want it to cut. It's good for, this says florist wire, plastic, and twigs. I would not be a happy camper if somebody was going to be cutting florist wire with this. Yes, it would cut it, but of course it might damage it, and I do not do that with my precious scissors. They're rust-resistant stainless steel blade, $36.95. We give these to our girls for shower gifts. It's just something you got to have one good pair of scissors on hand. All right, next up we have the Easy Arranger. So the Easy Arranger comes in a 3-pack, and it has a 4-inch, 5-inch, and 6-inch, which just means it's going to be very versatile for different size containers, or you can get a little organza bag and put one in each bag and have 3 gifts. What a deal. $21.50 limited stock, and that's a great price point. So it comes flat, and you actually poof it up a little bit like this. You can see it's kind of poofed up a little bit. Then we slide it over the top of the container.
How long we been bending that one?
And this one has, I can't believe it's not broken. We've been it so many times. And it just does an excellent job of holding your
You want a
flowers
shorter vase?
exactly where you want it. So you can see this is standing up in the middle of it, and it is not falling to the edge. And yes, this is a very large vase. If it were longer, you'd be standing up like that. But the Easy Arrangers are just easy. They're a great hostess or girlfriend gift, and you can even take someone flowers with one on her vase. Just make sure they know not to throw it out. So it's $21.50, again, limited stock, and it's just one of our favorite things to use. All right. So next up we have our mason jar frog. So this is little weathered chicken wire, and this is a standard size mason jar, and it just screws right on the top. And this would fit a larger mason jar as long as it has the standard top. So you just want to make sure that it's the right diameter up
This
here.
jar is not included, right?
Right, the jar's not included. It holds flowers, pencils, and more. 1 pack is $8.95, 2 packs $15.50, and a 3-pack is $21.50. And it works similar to the other one. Look at that. So you can get away with using just a very few flowers, and they're not going to fall over. I love. Are these King Alfred? They're just beautiful.
No, those are for grant. Those somebody planted those here before me.
Okay, these are
I think this one's King.
BL before Lisa. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, this one.
The ones
Look
that
at,
have the bigger trumpets.
look at that. Yeah, beautiful.
Those are Stevie's
But
favorites.
they just help, they just hold it up in place so you can use less flowers in your arrangement and add some greenery, and it's ready to go. So the 2-pack, did I do the prices for this one, Susie? 1 pack's $8.95, 2-pack is $15.50, 3-pack is $21.50. And again, it makes a great girlfriend gift or a hostess gift. All right, what do we have next? Our floral netting. Is there a crock over there? So you can grab the one up there.
It's right. We have moved it.
So this is the floral netting. It comes in this beautiful little package like this. It's 12 inches by 48 inches. It's coated wire, which prevents it from rusting, which is different than regular chicken wire. And it's $13.95. You just cut the piece you need. I'm going to cheat. There's already a piece in there. You cut the piece you need. This is probably a little large. And I can tell you that the one thing that is the most important is that when you stuff it in there, that it's tight enough that it's not going to move, so that when you stick your flower in there, it's going to stay where you put it, and it's not going to fall over. Like that. There we go. When I say fall over, I mean from the stuff inside moving. So you can see it holds it right into place. And the floral netting is $13.95, and one of those things to have in your little bag of goodies that you keep for flower arranging. All right, next we have our Oasis clear tape. So this comes in a little roll like this. It's 60 yards. This would last you a long time if you don't do a lot of arranging. But we love this stuff. It's waterproof, and you just make a little grid on top of your container, and you can use this on glass because you can see, you really can't even tell it's there. And once again, I'm going to use some of these little babies. Once again, it holds the flowers up, and when you arrange, it just holds them in place, so it makes the flowers go a lot further. $8.95 for the floral, clear floral tape.
And you know, sister, the floral netting you just showed and this tape is like the secret weapon that arrangers use. That's who we learned about this from.
Yep.
That's what helps them to do the job.
So next we're going to show you, so we can see a little better. So next I want to show you our Stay Put candle grips. They come in an 8-pack. They're $8.95, and we love these. Years we just tried wax and different things to try to hold our candle in place. But this, when we saw these, we knew we had to sell them. You just stick it in and it stays exactly where you put it. If you have a larger candle, you can put 3 around the edges of that and push it down, and it'll keep that in place too. So this is a Stay Put candle grip, and it's $8.95 for an 8-pack. And next up, I'm going to be demoing. I need my clover, sister. I'm going to be demoing our candle vase ring. And this is one of our favorite little gifts for girlfriends, especially. This will turn any plain little candle into a flower arrangement. And this is our nice Dollar Tree candle holder, and probably a Dollar Tree candle. And you just slide the vase over it, and you can see I put water in it. And I actually went out and got some of the crimson clovers for
We have
St.
3
Patrick's
gardens
Day.
full.
We do indeed. And you can use a ton of these in here. And what I might also do is put a few of these little teeny daffodils.
Oh,
Do people call them jonquils? What's the difference between a daffodil?
I don't know. I don't know what the official is. I think first off, it's generational. It's what people, grandma always called hers jonquils.
Yeah.
And so our dad did. Daffodils, I should probably know what that difference is, but I
So
don't.
I cut these a little longer than I think I'm going to need them, because they tend to stay in better if you put them in at a little angle instead of straight down. So we're going to cover that all around there. And then I'm going to take some of these little baby daffodils.
You know what I want to know? Does crimson clover grow 4-leaf clovers?
I
Oh,
couldn't
look,
find
those are
any.
little ones from Susie's. Look at that.
Oh,
Look how
look,
tiny.
little two-headed ones. Susie brought these. Aren't they
Are
precious?
they fragrant? Probably.
I don't smell anything.
These are, I think.
So
These are.
some of these are, because I can smell
Yeah,
it.
it's some.
So I'm going to cut it a little bigger than I need it. Put it in a slight
Aw.
angle. I probably need it a little bit shorter. I am always cutting stuff too long,
Well, you
because
can't
I
put
want
it
it to
back.
set right. So you can put some little jonquils in here.
Y'all, there are so many jonquils. You know that Brent and Becky's Heath, which are huge daffodil hybridizers, and I mean just lifelong amazing horticulturists. Their shop is only about 40 minutes from here. I'm just saying, I've never thought about this before, Susie. We should add that to our open farm places to go, because they're open usually in the summer, aren't they? But anyway, so it's so much fun to go to their farm when the bulbs are blooming. You can't believe how many different daffodils there are. Brent is they're both just such kind, dear people. Look
So
at
there you
that.
go. And even though the daffodils aren't really St. Patrick's Day, they are blooming in our area during St. Patrick's Day. And so there you can take just a
I
few
love those little
flowers.
ones.
And we love going and just getting little weeds growing in your yard. How
Clover.
much fun is it to get a little weed that's blooming and has some kind of color and put it on your table, and it looks beautiful? You know, weeds are just flowers that are growing somewhere you don't want them to grow. So utilize the stuff in your yard, and get your 2-pack of candle ring vases and send us pictures of what you've made in yours. We would love to see them. 15.95 for a 2-pack, and we just love these. And when we're talking about what's blooming now, it makes me think of the weather. Did anyone experience the crazy weather yesterday? I told some ladies we went to lunch, and we were walking to the car, and I said bikinis in the morning and parkas in the afternoon. It was 75 degrees yesterday morning, and then it was snowing and 34 at my house by the afternoon. Craziest thing I've ever seen. Right, next up, we have our espresso watering can. Now, this is a beautiful little can. It holds about 2 cups, and it's stainless steel. It's $34.95, and it's perfect to water your little indoor plants, and you can just sit it right on the shelf, and it looks beautiful. Or it's great for arrangements, because when you have an arrangement and you can't get it under the faucet, you can just pour this right into your arrangement to freshen them up. And do you want me to cut these off, sister, or you want them long?
Yeah, put them in there and I'll
Okay.
take it in the house.
So
Don't cut them too short.
the other great thing is to have flowers in them, because they are just gorgeous. Look at this white daffodil.
That's Ice Follies.
That is beautiful.
That's the first flower bulb I ever bought.
Well, you know, I don't have any daffodils in my yard, but there's a lot of
Really?
daffodils in my neighborhood, and I actually have Brent and Becky's catalog, and I looked at it last year, and I was going to order, you know, different blooming times and everything, and I never did. So
We should go over
I
there for a
have,
visit.
yes,
Like
I
now.
have said to my husband, I will be buying bulbs this year. So, is that too short, sister?
No, but it's not going to stay together. There's one more big one. Don't forget this one.
Come here, buddy. We don't want to leave you out.
So it's a tradition in the Ziegler family that the men are always. I was going to say that's.
It's too long.
No, show them how that works.
So
But they
this
get character on it.
still looks really cute in the front, but usually if it's falling over like that, you can just cut it a little bit shorter. Can I come?
Yeah.
Just cut it a
We
little.
have more.
Just cut it a little bit shorter, and they'll sit up pretty. Now look
Oh,
how
look.
look how that now looks pretty from all sides. So don't be afraid to cut it short. The espresso can is $34.95, and it's just beautiful. We love it because it has multiple uses, and something in this is really fragrant because now my throat is burning. All right. Reminder, can we get some paper towels? I've made a mess. Reminder, if you haven't already signed up for our giveaway, please do. You have to be in the app. Hit the, what does the button say, Susie? Is it
Giveaway.
giveaway? Yep. So hit the giveaway button and you want to get on the wait list. And the only thing we do with that list is randomly draw one person to put $25 in their account. You have to be present to win. So we'll draw this at the end of the show. And if you're here and can comment, we'll put this in your account. All right, Lisa.
All right, friends. Now let's talk about starting seeds. We are heading into the high season of seed starting. So I'm going to demonstrate how I start seeds, and we'll need water. Oop. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we start seeds using the soil blocking method. And first, let's look at some. These are some straw flowers that are full size, y'all. This is 60 plants, and they're growing in the little 3/4 inch block, y'all. These really are kind of old. They should have been planted out a couple weeks ago. But look how happy and healthy they are. And they are literally growing in 3/4 inch blocks. Just to give you a little view, look at my peppers that are just now sprouting. That's what they're growing in, that little 3/4 inch block. All right, so am I going to demo first? You want to, can you reach that?
Yeah. You need water anymore?
Yeah, thank you. All right, so the big thing that's different about soil blocking is that the blocking mix is really moist when you use it. And that makes it so that the blocking mix will come out of the tool. So that's really good. And yes, y'all, I use a potato masher. It's the best tool ever. So this is what the blocker looks like. Makes 20 of the 3/4 inch blocks. And you just push it down into the wet blocking mix. I push it down a couple of times and then strike off the excess. And one of the things that we kind of tweaked this method is by using flat bottom trays with no drainage holes. That means you can do it anywhere inside your home and not worry about water running everywhere. Look, I actually have 2 trays. So you just put it on the tray, give it a squeeze, and y'all, just that quick, we just made 20 little containers that you can plant your seeds in. All right, so you follow the same planting regimen as you do with any seed starting method. It's just that the container's different, right? So how can you get started doing this? You want to man that maybe? So the Soil Block Maker Kit has everything that you need. She's been this way.
It's an earthquake.
Did y'all know that we shared a bedroom growing up? What entertainment that was. Okay. Soul Block Maker Kit comes with a bag of the ready-made mix. This is 6 quarts, and y'all, this makes 600 of those little blocks, right? So it's super resource happy. And it also comes with your choice of either 3 warm season seeds or you can select 3 cool season seeds. You make that selection at checkout. It also includes my seed starting made easy online course. You own this for life, y'all. You can watch it as many times as you want. It covers getting started, growing them up inside, hardening them off, and getting them planted out in the garden. It includes the small soil blocker, and we import those from England. That is the original brand. It comes with 5 of these trays, which actually hold 3 sets of 20, so 60 plants. It includes the seed pan, the little plant markers, as well as one of our toothpick dispensers full of toothpicks. So you get all of this for $89.99, and this, everything that you need to actually get started soil blocking and the instruction to do it. So that's a great way to get started. Now, we also, we always have the recipe for the blocking mix on our website. A lot of people love making their own, and that's kind of what our soil set is all about. So let me show you what this is all about. So in this soil set, it includes the fungus gnat prevention treatment kit, and that is the bits that you put in your watering can once a week to kill larvae that are growing in the wet soil, as well as the sticky traps that capture the adults that are flying around laying the eggs on the moist soil. This kit also includes toothpicks, which is what we use to sow our seeds with, y'all, and the seed pan, as well as the DIY nutrient mix. This is actually powder, y'all. That's what it needs to be, not granules. This is a 50-50 mix of green sand and rock phosphate. And it's got the recipe right on the front of the bag. And you add your peat moss or cocoa fiber and compost to that, and that makes blocking mix. And we recommend sifting all of it, even our ready-made mix. This is a sifter that fits perfectly on top of a 5-gallon bucket, makes the job neat and easy. This is a great time of year to do it in the afternoon outside, and sift your peat moss, your cocoa fiber, your compost, and or your ready-made mix. The stuff that is the chunks is full of biology, y'all. That's why it's there. Put that out in your garden or in your containers, just not in your seed mix. You get all of this for $69.11. And everything here is available separately in the actual app. All right, so what's up? Oh, guess what's back, y'all? The spiral bound cut flower handbook. Now, y'all know this is, where's the regular book? People, oh, where? So this is my book, The Cut Flower Handbook, and it is a really powerful resource. It's something you're looking at all the time. And this is how it normally is. See, it's got a beautiful spine, and we've sold it like this since it's come out, right? Well, we began at the end of last year sending them to a vendor that tears the spine off and spiral bounding it. And why is that? Because you can do this. It lays completely flat when you're actually working, or better yet, I love flipping it back on itself. So the spiral bound book, we have an restocking availability sale going on until Sunday at 8 a.m. It's $42.46. And so if you are one of those people like we are that are just always looking at your books and referring back to them, the spiral bound just makes the job so much easier. And y'all aren't going to believe what's in here now. This is one of the most things we get asked about, because it's St. Patrick's Day and they're green is what made this all happen. Y'all look, it's our trays. They are our reusable plastic blocking trays. We actually get these from England, and it comes in sets of 5. It is the deal of the day, y'all. This is the time to get these babies. So each one of these either holds 5 sets of 20 for 100 blocks, or 4 sets of the 2-inch for 16 blocks. These are really that hard molded plastic. They will last forever. They're made from that durable plastic, and they're 18 3/4 inches long, 6 inches wide. And y'all, This is what we start all of ours in because we're of the school now where we're starting 100 of everything. It is the deal of the day because when you buy it over on our website, the shipping is more than 11.95. It's because it cost us more than 11.95 to ship it here inside the app only until Sunday at 8 a.m. When you buy these, the shipping is only $11.95, and it doesn't matter if you buy other products, y'all. It's still just $11.95 once. So that is while supplies last, and that's available until Sunday at 8 a.m. And we absolutely love these trays. And speaking of England, this is another one of the same product. Same company makes these. This is our favorite kitchen composter. This bucket's useful for a lot of stuff. People use it for bird seed and dog food, but for a kitchen composter, it's perfect. It's got a snug fitting top, and if you empty it once a week and only put in truly fresh products, no meats, it's all produce and vegetables and those types of things, and vegetables and fruit. And I chop it up really well and empty my can a couple times a week. You don't need a compost bucket with a filter on it if you process properly, meaning only put the things you're supposed to in there and emptying it. Love this thing. It's $15.95, and it has a lot of different uses. So you can also buy the sifter separately, y'all. It's $24.95, and again, it just fits perfectly on a 5-gallon bucket, and that just simplifies the whole process. And you know, we are getting to that season that our little, we love to say this is our bird seed scoop. This is a little 1 cup scoop that makes filling small things super easy. See how the opening is? Bird seed, if you have a little dog, it'll work for that. What I love about it is that it has a little hole so you can attach it maybe to your bird seed container. So our little green scoop is $7.95. And again, do you notice that all these are green? They're all made by the same company in England. We love them. $7.95. And my friends, Slug X. Do y'all know what this is? You know that Pabst Blue Ribbon beer is the leading beer to snap up slugs. They're attracted to it because it's so yeasty. You can put it in a saucer out in your garden. The problem with that is every time it rains, it gets washed out, or if you have a dog like mine, they drink it all. It's kind of a problem. So this is, oh, and look, I forgot about these, y'all. Susie made us some little ceramic slugs. How cute is that? Look at, here's his brother.
They're cute until you step on one in the driveway.
Look at those little guys. Did y'all know this? That slugs do not need to mate to reproduce? That explains why we have gazillions of them, y'all. All right, so let me move those guys. This has wells inside of it. You pour your beer in here. Then you place the top back on it. I put a cinder block on top of mine to keep our Goldens out. And the slugs come in through the side doors. They smell the yeast. They go in, they fall in, they drown, they drink it, and they're toast, right? This is the time of the year. I posted a video the other day. I saw the biggest slug literally crossing the street when I was walking my dog. So they're already out and active. So the Slug X is $20.95. And it's one of those things you'll just have for the rest of your life. This plastic holds up outside in the UV rays. Sister,
Did you tell her to put a cinder block on top?
I did. I did. This is my sister's favorite gardening tool. She loves it because it extends her arms. When you sit down, it's also a good back scratcher. Do you know that when you get down on the ground, you don't want to get up and down, up and down. This really helps. It's got a little rake on one end. It's got a great shovel on this end that has marks for inches. It's made from aluminum. It's solid cast. This is a tool that we have sell a lot to grandmas to give to their granddaughters because they just love the tool. You know, it's like a family thing. It's kind of like Joyce Chen shears. It's a 2-in-1. It's $34.95. It is super lightweight, and I love using it to plant. See how it's got the point? You can really just plant really quick. Now, our green pot and tray set, there's 32 cells, so you get 8 of these. Each has 4. You get these amazing trays that have no drainage holes, y'all. So once again, you can do this indoors without having leeks. It's great for sunflowers, rooting, potting up tomatoes, or bumping them up. It's $19.95, and these will, again, last forever. These are not disposable trays, y'all. And they're BPA free plastic. So we have a lot of supply things that we have just learned to love. And this is one that is actually our deal of the day. It's 20% off. This is foam covered wire. You do all kinds of things with this. You need to cut it. I mean, when I'm trying to get a little vine, sometimes even my sweet peas, if they're just not tall enough yet to really weave them, I can take a piece of this and just make a little turn like that, cut it, and it'll hold the vine. Tend to cut mine kind of in uniform pieces, and then I just collect them up at the end of the season. You can use it for putting up Christmas decorations. It's normally
St. Patrick's Day decorations.
or St. Patrick's Day decorations. So it's normally $15.95, and it's on sale through Sunday at 8 a.m. for $12.76. Doing your tomatoes, y'all. There's just so many vining things and other chores that just makes it easy. And speaking of green, we haven't talked about this. Boy, sometimes it's like old school day, isn't it? It's been a long winter, y'all. This is plant Velcro. It's a half an inch wide. It's 50 feet long. You can cut it to any length. And it's reusable. This again, great for tomatoes. You know what the great part is? It's great when you're putting it on, but the great part is when you're taking it off. You just pull it and it comes apart. Has anybody else been fighting strings and things at the end of the season? This is $7.95, and this too is great for putting up decorations outside and all kinds of stuff. And it is made to hold up in the weather. So this is the grow through. So this is, you suspend this flat part over your plant, and it has legs. Here we go.
Missing a leg here, but let's see.
And I love using this on my containers because I grow so many of our cut flowers in big containers. When you support them, it doesn't have to be as big as your container. It can be a little bit smaller. And when you support them, it keeps the flowers upright so they don't fall over, which is bad anyway. But when it kind of keeps them in their own space, because I push all my containers together, it just makes for a beautiful display. So this is the grow through. It's powder coated. This is a 12-inch wide head. The legs are 18 inches long. It's $13.95, and I use it for a lot of things, as you're getting ready to see. So this is the container protection kit that we created here. And so underneath here is one of my big containers. And we have put one of the grow throughs on. So it will support the insect netting that we have capped it with, to keep out the varmint, y'all. The squirrels and the rabbits, even rabbits, will jump up in a container, and the birds pulling out your plants. So it comes with a 6-foot square piece of insect netting. This is nylon and it's stretchy. It's much more durable than row cover, and it allows more light in and the heat to get out, so you can use it all during the season. It includes an 8-foot piece of the flexi tie, which you just pull on. It's stretchy. It holds a knot and a bow. You put your insect netting over, you put this around like a belt and tie it, and your stuff is protected. I absolutely love this, y'all. Every container out there, I just took them down. And I take this off once the plants are established. It's $22.95 for all the pieces. And again, you can buy those pieces separately if you want to. There's the picture, sister. So what is your favorite green product? Put it in the comments, y'all. Do you have any of those, or are you thinking about it? Put in the comment and let us know. I just have to say that even though those trays are pretty important to me, I just love that darn Slug X. I love keeping my dog out of it. I mean, do you know what it's like to see a golden retriever with a slug stuck in his teeth? It's not good, y'all. It's pretty gross. Yeah, I've been there, done it. All right, so let's look at some green plants. So first off, for safe seed storage. We recommend storing your seeds in a cool, dry place, and desiccant packs help to keep them dry. It helps with humidity and condensation. A 2-pack is $2.95 and a 10-pack is $9.95. This is one of those things you just want to have so when you need to store seeds, you know you have them to make your seeds last longer in storage. Did you know that all the seeds that I start come from the same place yours do? I mean, off the shelf at the warehouse. And I love doing that, y'all. So let's run through some green stuff. So this is our in-house custom basil mix, lemon and cinnamon basil. Love this. It looks green, obviously, but it smells good too. That is really great. Cardinal basil is a lot of fun. It's got more foliage and it's the classic basil smell. Love that one. And then y'all, how about some green zinnias? This is the Queenie Lime, which is a little bit smaller than the Benaries, but that's okay because she is absolutely beautiful. Then, oops, skip one. There she is. And there is Lime Blush. This is the lime green with that pink, y'all. It is so beautiful. And who doesn't love eucalyptus? That's the silver dollar. That is a great one. We love having that foliage at the end of the month. And then there is the Benaries Giants, lime green zinnias, the biggest ones, and they're so voluptuous. And where would we be without hairy balls, y'all? Those are the seed pods that follow the little flowers. And so we love hairy balls, as do our customers. And explosion grass. Really love that one. People call that the fireworks. And it's green and pretty. And y'all know I'm a coxcomb fan. This is the coxcomb spring green. Love that one. And sylphid, one of my favorite plumes, just because y'all, green is neutral. So that means you can use it for everything. And that's what I'm all about. And then look at this one, lime light millet. Ah, love it when it's like this, just emerging. It's so easy to use in bouquets. And then pumpkin on a stick. This is what we want in October, but I use them all season long green, as I do with the rooster peppers, y'all. This is what they look like in the fall, but all summer we use them as green filler and for florists and supermarkets. I mean, this is a really hot one. And then this is the coxcomb act. Looks the same as spring green, but they bloom about 14 days apart. They're single stems. They're just beautiful. Kept thinking that one had two. This is the Super Crest, which is it's huge, y'all. It'll grow 6, 7 feet tall sometimes. And it has all these unique shapes and colors. And then, of course, where would we be without our spinning gourds? These are about that big, y'all. They are so sweet. If you have kids, grandkids, these are great for crafting once they dry. Painting, Christmas ornaments, so much fun stuff, and it's so easy. You plant them and grow them now, and then just throw them in a bag after they're dry, and then you remember you have them in January. Look at this. This is amaranth. What do they call this? Green tails. They changed the name so much. Green tails is awesome. And I love this one. This is the green drops grass. That is spectacular too. And then this is a Sunday series plume. They call that green, and it's green white. It's really pretty. Remember, green and white flowers you cut earlier than the others. And look at these grasses. This is lowlander. It's a little bit smaller. These are all just so great to have filler, y'all. And then this is Highlander, which is a bigger version. The head gets seedier in my experience. And y'all, what about this one? Sunfilled green. This is the sunflower I grow for the flower bud. How useful is that? How pretty. Nobody recognizes that as a sunflower. Totally love that. All right, my friends, it is time to wrap it up on this green thing show, y'all. Stick around to the very end for the Q&A. And reminder that the shipping rates and deals of the day and sales are here in the app only. You will not find these over on our website. And the deal of the days are good until Sunday at 8 a.m. While supplies last. Now, I want to remind everybody that over on our website, thegardenersworkshop.com, we have so many resources for you, friends. We have videos, blogs, podcasts. Be sure and check out both of our podcasts, Field and Garden, that I host, episode number 338, Why I Don't Use Floral Recipes with Ellen Frost. That's a good one. You know, she is a designer and because we don't use recipes either. So we love Ellen. And then there's Seed Talk, which is our other podcast with Lisa and Lane. Episode 14 is DIY flower arranging with Ellen Frost again. And number 32, ornamental peppers for bouquets and arrangements. A reminder that the Gardener's Workshop hosts Ask a Flower Farmer on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock on Instagram and on TikTok. Would love to have you join us there. Remember to meet us back here next Friday for the live shopping show at 12 noon. Wednesdays at 8 p.m., we have another live show. And then I do pop-up shops, y'all. Those are unscheduled shows. And if you want to be notified of that, please be sure the notifications are turned on inside of your app. Now, don't forget about these great deals today. First off, our hard plastic reusable blocking trays have capped shipping here in the app, and that is only while supplies last or Sunday at 8 a.m. And we also have the deal of the day on the foam wire tie, the blooming bulb food, and my spiral cut flower handbook that we have a restocking special going on. So find all those in here while supplies last. And friends, we have a winner of our $25 store credit, and I hope you're here. I just love giving our stuff away, y'all. And if you're here, give me a shout out. And you are Melissa Hale. Melissa Hale, if you are here, give us a shout out in the comments and the girls will drop 25 bucks right into your cart. And thank you so much for participating. We love when people do that. And friends, oh, she's here. Congratulations, Melissa. Thank you so much for participating. We love it when people are in the app chatting and talking. And anyway, it's just so much fun. All right, friends, let's hit the questions. Do you have to harden off seedlings if they are in a greenhouse? Yes, because a greenhouse is a protected environment. So yes, you definitely do. Zone 7B, 8A, Arkansas. We're going to have a low of 26 and my snaps are budding. Should I cover tulips? Cover them too? The thing is, if you are going to try, they'll probably be fine. If you tried to cover them, you need to be sure that the cover's not touching the bud, because the cold on the cover will just zoom right into your bud. So either securely without touching, or I would not do anything probably. Do you fertilize zinnias during your routine time to fertilize seedlings while under the grow lights? Sometimes it really depends on how things are going. If they're growing good and fast and they're looking great, no. I mean, I don't fertilize out in the field because of fueling mildew. Mildew is already present always on zinnias, and fertilizer can kind of fuel that system. So sometimes I do. If they're slow or if I'm trying to rush them, I will. But in general, I don't fertilize zinnias beyond what they get when they get planted out in my garden that has prepared beds with fertilizer. Zone 6B, Pennsylvania. I'm ready to plant out my cool season seedlings, but the next week's overnights are low 20s. Should I wait until that temperature is warmer? No. First off, we always hoop and cover our very early spring plantings because they're not established. I mean, that's the only issue, is they aren't going to be established, but who's to say that it's not going to happen again in 3 weeks? And then you're going to be closer and closer to your frost date, right? So we have to be prepared to provide what they need. But we go below 20 here. I mean, our stuff was uncovered, and we hit below freezing, and and there's some that's pretty mature. If they take cold weather, they might not take prolonged cold weather in your region, but I probably would not worry about it. Will you be offering the in-person farm tour on your garden this summer? Will there be an open farm day this year? They are one and the same. So We typically do an open farm at the end of June. Have we set that date?
Yeah, so it's going
It,
out soon. But
yeah, get on the farm newsletter, and it'll be going out soon. But it's usually the end of June, the second half of June, yes, there's ongoing tours here on the farm, and the warehouse is also open. Um, My soul block seedlings are 4 weeks old. It's too cold here this week to plant outside. The roots are growing out the bottom and they seem to be stopping growing. Should I bump them up? I would not bump them up. I'd plant them. And again, cover. You need, if you're gonna, it's just like doing early bird sunflowers. If you're gonna grow cool flowers and plant in very early spring, you need to be prepared to plant in very early spring. And I say that that means that you have row cover available to cover them. We cover immediately when we plant in very early spring. Winds are cold. The spring is just so windy, and they're not established. So I would plant. You are so much better off to plant them if they're the right size and hardened off and covering them out there than they are bumping them up. That just drags them down. Is it too late now to start Lysiantha? If I start them now, would they bloom at all? Yeah, I would say it is because it takes 12 to 16 weeks to grow a Lysianthus transplant that big. And as I mentioned to somebody else the other day, this is the time of the year that some of the plug growers have plug trays available that they overstarted or something. Go visit farmerbaileyplugs.com. If you want to grow Lysianthus, that's your sure bet to get. We order plugs now. We don't grow Lysianthus from seed anymore. And it's too late. My soil blocks don't look like yours. They don't seem right. Would you show us what a soil block should look like right before you water them? If not today, then maybe Wednesday evening show. So you're looking for a dry one. Is that what you're saying?
See if I find one.
Suzanne's going to look for one. I know, Suzanne, that overgrown out on the, and I just watered the carport too, so that won't work. Anyway, so yeah, I'll try to remember that for Wednesday. Now you've told us, and they're aware of it. Maybe it'll actually happen. What type of info is in the cut flower handbook? Everything. It tells you how to start a cutting garden, how to set it up, conditioning, harvesting, how to keep it going. My recommendation of starting small is the number one successful step you can take. And then it goes through how to cut, where to cut, all the different 66 different flowers are featured with every tip about them. Each flower has 3 to 5 pages of information. So pretty much anything you need to know about growing cut flowers for the gardener, home gardener, and the flower farmer. Does the sifter fit on top of the compost bucket? No, it fits on top of a 5-gallon bucket. Are the CVBN tabs food grade? Could I use edible or herbal foliages? No. I would say that's probably something that's never been tested on it. It's chlorine. It's just like the type of chlorine that goes into a pool in tablet form that is stable for up to 72 hours. It's not intended for edible items. So like, for instance, if you're going to use basil, if people are using your basil to eat, then that would be, you would say this has been conditioned with CVBN or not, whatever you're choosing to do. Is there a reason why you use 128 plug trays for early sunflowers versus soil blocks? First off, this would apply to all sunflowers. We start sunflowers every week for 30 weeks, not just early birds. And the reason we do that is if I were to do soil blocks, you have to do the 2-inch blocker. Takes a ton of blocking mix, 12 times the volume of the small block. So this is, I was going to show you all this.
Well, I was just doing it for the size.
Yeah. So here are 2-inch blocks eucalyptus. And so this block, the 2-inch block, takes 12 times the volume of soil. Remember how I said that bag of blocking mix will make 600 of the small blocks? It only makes 30. And that's what started me. But we know that plug trays grow, these are old, y'all. These sunflowers does a great job. And trying to find one to pull, these aren't quite ready yet. So that's all right. This is how they look right when they're getting ready to go to the garden. Much less labor. You just fill the tray and plant the seed. If I had to make, when we were planting 1,200 a week, 1,200 a week. Imagine having to make 1,200 of these and how much blocky mix it would take, right?
Depends on how much you're starting.
That's right. I mean, if you're a home gardener, 2 inch all the way. But for people growing for selling, typically trays. When you harvest, do you always use 5 gallon buckets? No, I do not. We use the bucket to fit the appropriate size of the intended harvest. If you're a small grower, 5 gallon buckets probably won't work for you. You need taller, narrower buckets so your flowers don't slide. So, yeah, we use a bunch of different sizes. If you were planting only one kind of sunflower and one kind of celosia, what would you plant? For sunflowers, well, it would be a pro cut for sure, but it would depend on when I was planting it as to which color. And one kind of celosia would probably be Texas plumes, versatile, different shaped heads, and all the colors in the book.
And a sunflower, they could get one of our mixers.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. If you want to just plant one pack of sunflowers, our Pro Cut Mix, which has all the colors in it, would be a great choice for that. That's a great way to meet the different colors. So, my friends, thanks for joining us here today, and I hope to see you next week. And y'all remember, don't plant your warm stuff too early, and don't be afraid to plant your cool season stuff. It does not matter to me what the weather is doing. I plant in my 6 to 8 week window. That means if it's too hot, too cold, whatever, I still plant it. I have just learned through the years that's the only gauge we have, and that's the best one to follow. So be brave and plant your cool flowers, even though it's going to be cold, and give them the protection they deserve. Ciao.